Welcome back to the Always Thinking Mindset channel, where we give you positive vibes and simple rules to achieve your goals. Now, in today's video, we are going to speak on why you should purchase your first property using an FHA loan. Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. But before we begin, if you take any value from this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. No subscription needed. And if you love the channel, you already know what to do. So let's go ahead and begin. So in this video, I'm going to explain the benefits of using an FHA loan to buy your first property, right? Because you got to understand, in the banking industry, you have conventional, you have FHA, you have a cash offer. There's so many ways of purchasing your first property. Now, the other remaining ones, not FHA, those are for the big investors, big money lenders that have already accomplished that. But if it's your first property, or you're just looking to invest, you might want to consider going FHA, which is the Federal Housing Authority. My first rule of why you should use FHA is because it's cheaper. Cheaper as in a cheaper down payment, which is 3.5% of the property. So you have a lot of properties that usually require a 20%. The standard is a 20% down payment from the banks, right? Because they want you to put skin in the game. Sometimes I don't have 20% lying around to give for this first property. And this is what makes FHA loans so beautiful. And the beauty of it is that whether you're low income or high income, you can use FHA for the property. Now, you got to understand this is a government backed loan, so there's going to be a lot of requirements and a lot of additional due diligence. But the main first reason we speak on is because it's cheaper. It's the best way to put your foot in the door to earn your first property, whether it's a duplex, single family home. And at the same time, you're actually saving money because you're investing in a property for the future for you to own the asset. And what better way through FHA, which leads me to my second rule, that it is easier to qualify. What does this mean? This means that they typically look at your credit score. I always say you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have good credit, they're probably not going to lend to you, right? Because that's the name of the game, lending to people that have credit or assets. But back to the credit score, FHA makes it really easy to get your foot in the door. Usually about 600 they're looking for. I've seen as low as 580. And like I said, this is a government backed loan. So what does this mean? The government wants you to own a house and pretty much be available to anyone, right? Be accessible. They don't want to make it just for high end businesses or investors or people that have a lot of money. So with that being said, like I said, this is a benefit to you because like I said, it makes it easier to qualify. The other loans, they're going to ask for a higher credit score. They're going to want more collateral, more down payments. They need to trust you before they lend you the money. So whenever you buy your first property, whether you're looking to just buy a home, first time home buyer, or your first investment property, consider using FHA, right? And as of today, I still use it. There's plenty of investors I speak with, they still use FHA. And it's just so beneficial because it doesn't just single out somebody. And as an investor, you're always looking of ways to strategize, save money, to improve. And FHA is usually the best way to going by that. Which leads me to my last rule of this is a government backed loan. So one of the benefits I always explain to people is that because it's government backed, they're not going to lend you money without doing their due diligence, which puts you in the same boat. So what does this mean? That means because you want to purchase a house, but you're not too savvy on real estate. The government will send an inspector. They have their own inspectors. They go in there and they tell you what's wrong with the house, what needs to be fixed. So you can kind of piggyback off of them. And this looks out for you because it's a risk, right? Purchasing a home, it comes up with a lot of costs, a lot of additional repairs you didn't discuss with or they didn't disclose. But with the FHA backed loan, you do get the courtesy of working with a bank or someone that knows what they're doing. And at the same time, they're going to put you in the driver's seat of why they're going to lend you the money and why they're not going to lend you the money. But FHA is the way to go, especially if you are a first time home buyer or you're just purchasing your first property or even your second property. FHA is so good because of just it being cheaper, more reliable, and the only downfall, well, not only, but there's a certain amount of downfalls. One is the MIP, which is the mortgage interest protection. Pretty much the bank takes an insurance policy on you because in case you default on your loan, which is okay, but at the same time, you got to understand they're risking a lot of their money to somebody they don't even trust with a low credit score. So it's okay, but FHA is the way to go, and that is the best strategy, especially when you're first trying to buy your property and get your foot in the door. If you took today's video with great value, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It does help the algorithm. And if you like this channel, check out my other videos, right? There's so much in here that I want you to learn. I love to share this with you. Please leave your comments below whether you think FHA is a good alternative or the only alternative. But at the same time, we will speak soon.